Hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Sever, and I'm from the internet. I work with MultiversX to coach startups in the ecosystem. And what I tell each and every one of them is to use AI tools to 1000x their output. So it's my great pleasure and honor today to host this AI panel alongside our distinguished guests. To my right, we have Benjamin Richter. He's a customer engineer at Google Cloud and supporting digital native companies to solve the challenges of tomorrow. While Benjamin is fascinated by all products on the Google Cloud platform, he has a strong focus on solutions in the Web3 space. Please welcome Benjamin.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Next, we have Andreea Plesea. She's the co-founder of DRUID AI. She holds a PhD in conversational AI since 11 years ago, so she's the real OG of AI. She's a co-founder at DRUID. DRUID's a no-code, low-code platform which enables enterprises to automate customer and employee interactions using conversational business applications that leverage AI-driven virtual assistants and intelligent automation. Let's welcome Andreea.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Next, we have William Simonin. Almost no introduction needed after the great presentation earlier. Great job, William. He's the CEO of Tada, a decentralized AI data collection protocol, allowing better accuracy and price, and Vivoca, an all-in-one solution that enables any company to create its own high-performance, secure offline voice AI assistant in record time. Please welcome William.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, let's get into it. But before we get into it, let's make sure that when discussing artificial intelligence, we are all talking about the same thing. You know, everyone talks about AI and gives it like a range of definitions, from yet another software tool to an anthropomorphized computer or like a human-like robot. What is it? What does AI mean to you, and what is the most effective way of understanding this phenomenon and best capture its opportunities and challenges? Andreea, will you please go first?
Thank you. So basically, AI means the intelligence of a machine. This is to make it simple. But in a more broader sense, it represents the capacity of reasoning, of understanding, and acting as if it was a human. And now with the multitude of data that enterprises have, and you know, the big data, data lakes, the AI is also working into managing this whole data that surrounds an enterprise environment.
Awesome. William, will you then give us your definition?
For me, I saw a lot of kind of definition of what's an AI. But if I have to provide my own definition, I think thanks to programming, developers try to fix and to solve a lot of problems. And I think we can define an AI where we created a program who is trying to copy the way our brain works to solve a problem. For me, an AI tried to copy the behavior of a human to propose different solutions to something. Any kind of algorithm, even if it's not deep learning, could be an AI, depending on the philosophy we created the program. I think to have a good apprehension of that, we have to continue to understand how our brain works and try to reproduce it to solve problems more complex.
Very interesting how both of you reference the human brain in the definition. Awesome. Benjamin.
Yeah, I don't know what to add in terms of a definition. I think we have two quite experts here next to me. I think the way I look at it is really to differentiate. I'm trying to say is that I would make a differentiation between generative AI, which I think we saw this video that William was showing, and often if you read, let's say, media or follow media, this is what everyone thinks AI is all about, and it's brand new. And we all know, or most of you should know as well, that AI has been there quite a lot longer in different shapes, and we just spoke about it before. You've been in the field for quite a few years, and I think this is the important bit, that there is a new iteration of AI now that is able to do things that the older versions of AI were not able to do necessarily before. But within, like, if you look at Google as an example, AI has been part of our products almost since the very beginning. So Google just celebrated 25th anniversary a few weeks ago, and I actually had to look this up beforehand, but even in the classic Google search, the autocomplete feature has been there, I think, since 20 years. And at its core, this is already powered by AI. But of course, over time, things have gotten better and more advanced, and it's super exciting to see what this latest generation of AI, generative AI, is able to achieve in products like Tata and even DRUID. They can enable and unlock experiences that go way beyond this simple thing. You start typing a word and the search engine seems to know what you're looking for. And that's, I think it's super exciting that it's actually not a new field, but it shows that this field has such a potential to do unimaginable things.
I think everyone here acknowledges Google as the OG AI. If anyone is here old enough to remember like the Google search page back in the beginning, it actually looked like the chat interfaces of today. You put in text like what you want to do, and it had like conversational capabilities to a certain extent. And thank you for the Transformers paper. Awesome. All right. So the next question is about automation and robotics. We thought, you know, we'd see robot gardeners and self-driving trucks and all of the blue-collar jobs more or less automated. And yet here we are with the white-collar jobs, you know, now being, let's say, impacted the most because of the evolution of the AI. What is the direction of the ongoing AI-driven change, and how will it impact the way we work? William, can you take this, please?
In my point of view, we have to see AI as a tool. And basically, a really interesting tool, because I think AI can solve problem human cannot. Let's take an example on the healthcare. We can provide a lot of information on an AI, and this system can find a solution in few seconds, where maybe tens of medicine will not be able to, because an AI can take a lot of different kind of information, process it for specific needs, and provide a specific solution. So we will have to adapt the way we work, and of course, I think the best example I can provide is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT can revolutionize different kind of industry, the way we do communication, marketing, research, and so on. And we have to learn how we will be able to work on different kind of domain thanks to AI. We have to use it for the good things.
I love that answer. One of my favorite AI books ever, very controversially, is Dune, actually. So Frank Herbert said that machines will not replace humans. It's humans with machines that will replace humans. So I think that's very much in that. Benjamin, how do you feel about this?
I actually kind of thought about how I can make this as interesting as possible, and one of the kind of strategies I wanted to deploy was to disagree with one of the things you say, but I have to say I agree fully with what William just said, that yes, AI is in the first place, it's a tool. And maybe to give you a bit of background, like why Google is active in this space, I mean, you mentioned that we do research ourselves to improve our own products, like the Transformer paper, attention is all you need, that kind of is the foundation of all these large language models that we see now, like ChatGPT and our own solutions. But then on the other hand, I'm personally working in the Google Cloud department, and we are here to help other companies, other projects, other startups with digital transformation or improving their products, their experiences with the most like state-of-the-art tech. So on this, in this capacity, when it comes to how can AI, to answer your question, how we see that, what impact AI will have, the tool itself, I think it is kind of, in a way, it doesn't do much by itself. It needs to be kind of coupled or paired with something else. And depending on, any of you might be an expert in a certain field, a certain industry, and you would be the person to best know what can be improved. And then look at it, if AI can help, most probably it can help in somehow to either solve the problem better or make your business more successful, make you more efficient or more creative. And Google Cloud is here to help you do that by providing the technology, the tools on our platform, but also the expertise. As I mentioned before, like we are doing research in the field, and like that's why we want to encourage you to be as creative and be the expert that you are, and we want to make it as easy as possible to use all these tools and latest technologies.
Beautiful. AI is augmentation for everything at every level. I love how AI is seeping into every Google product. So unavoidable and so makes so much sense. Beautiful. Andreea?
I wouldn't say that it will not replace some of the jobs, because if we look into the past, and for instance the telephony, when you were to place a phone call, there were some person that were literally making the link from one end to another. This was on the cord phones. Now we have changed this, and we have virtual assistants that pick up the phone, talk with the human, and from the other line, and when the virtual assistant cannot perform a task, it will route to a human in the contact center, so that there will still be a backup plan for the virtual assistant when it's not able to handle an automation. So the jobs will for sure change, in the sense that we will not be doing the repetitive and mundane task anymore, which do not involve creativity, but we will use our creativity to train the robots to do the jobs that we don't like to do. And I think that there is a hand-in-hand journey between human and machine when it comes to performing our operational, administrative, and also even creative tasks, as you mentioned, the generative AI pattern. DRUID is a low-code, no-code conversational AI platform that can interact with any system from the company and can perform various tasks, but they are guided, so the DRUID virtual assistants need some humans to build them. So the human builds the AI, and then the AI helps the human to perform its task. And we had our launch event 3 days ago in London, and we showed how DRUID and DRUID's large language models can be used in order to automate different tasks. And our vision is to have a virtual assistant for every employee and every persona, actually. And we actually showed how two virtual assistants can chat with each other through voice, one being my virtual assistant that was helping me by doing my day-to-day task, and because I was not feeling well, he just called a private clinic to do me an appointment to a doctor, and from the other end, the virtual assistant pick up the phone and perform on my behalf the booking of an appointment. So this is how we envision future, but in the back of those virtual assistants, it's still a human that has to control whatever they are doing.
That's amazing. It makes me a bit sad when you said that the jobs will change, because I was really wanted to drop everything and follow my passion of working with spreadsheets. Seems like it's no longer a job for the future. Let's go to the next one. AI makes things easier for everyone. For example, I'm no programmer. I wrote a Hello World application. I got a blue screen. That's my level of programming. But now with AI, I can write scripts. I can make websites. I can make images, music, voice, virtual assistants. It's amazing. And with blockchain, I can fund and monetize my ideas much quicker. It's not wild to think that you can launch a new product in one day today. It's pretty crazy to think about it, but it's not so crazy now that you think about it. So, what are the most exciting things you think will come out of the intersection of these two important technologies, artificial intelligence and blockchain? Benjamin.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question, especially as I think we started by defining what we all think of what AI is. And I've seen with Web3, there seems to be often a bit of a, let's say, more wide open definition that some people mingle all these emerging technologies together, and I think it's really important to make a distinction, and that's why I think, especially now as we do, we differentiate between artificial intelligence, or maybe Gen AI specifically, and then also blockchain technology. That's my personal definition of Web3, and I think Web3 itself is not a single industry. Web3, similar to AI, can be part of an existing industry, of existing problems and challenges. And so the intersection, I wouldn't say, is limited to between AI and blockchain, where these two meet. It really matters what kind of use case, what you're already looking at, and then you can look at both technologies and see if they can both help what you're working on. But we do think there are at least a few quite specific kind of areas where they can meet, and I'm going to give you, let's say, 2 examples right here, and then there's more to come. I'm going to do a little talk about where these 2 technologies meet right after this talk on the smaller stage, little shameless plug here. And so what we see, the one great use case for example, generative AI is to discover information in a lot of like unstructured documents. And this can also come in handy in the blockchain space. Just think of very technical white papers or certain policies that you want to put in a smart contract. And for someone who, as you mentioned, is not a developer, this might be difficult to grasp, or even in if you need a short summary to make an investment decision. And GenAI can help to get this information out of a wide range of complicated documents in an easy manner, either via a summary or even a kind of chat interface that you can interact with and ask follow-up questions. And that would be just one example of where these 2 can meet from what we can see. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it.
Amazing. I feel the same way about Web3. I think the success of Web3 is, let's say, more or less like the blockchain part. The success of it will be when it's so deep in the technology stack that it's invisible, right? Like you said, like everything. I mentioned before, like with AI and blockchain, you can launch an application in 1 day, and that's because previous technologies, like the internet, like cloud, already make provisioning and communication easy. So we don't even think about that anymore, right? It's great. William, what's your take on it?
I think answer to this question is not that easy. What we know is a few years ago, we were limited by our hardware capacity in terms of processing, in terms of memory, and so on. But right now, we don't have those limits. So we know that there is different kind of advantage for AI to solve problems and for blockchain in terms of security, in terms of transparency, and so on. So what I know is that the next evolution of our world and of our technology will be able to be implemented really, really fast. And once again, ChatGPT could be a good example. But imagine the next use cases could be really, really complex. So we know that different industries will be revolutionized by this technology, sometimes by blockchain, sometimes by AI, sometimes by both. But both together, don't really know, and I can't wait to see.
Everyone is enthusiastic about the incredible universe of opportunities that lie at the intersection of these 2 technologies. Andreea, what's your take on it?
I would take this more on a startup part of the story, so the fundraising piece. We have recently closed a fundraising round, which is not necessarily I don't want to brag with this, but in an era where there is war, there is economic uncertainty, and there is the generative AI that for conversational AI, some say it will AI platform, some say it will be the death. It was a challenging time to raise a financial round, but the reason we have raised it and the reason we have been awarded this round, and it was even oversubscription, it was the ability of DRUID platform to use the technology that is currently evolving and enhancing it. And there are the fund that has invested in DRUID, is also investing in blockchain companies. So to be honest, blockchain companies might be more attractive than conversational AI platforms at the time. But there are even hedge funds that are investing crypto into so it's a new, let's say, a new track now. Besides the ordinary venture capitals, there are the hedge funds, and they are investing crypto into the new startups. What I want to say is that generative AI and the progress in AI shouldn't be seen as something that is a technology and something that is, I heard only ChatGPT. It's not only ChatGPT, it's a technology, it's a general think generative AI as it was in the past natural machine learning, then natural language processing, then natural language understanding, now it's generative AI. So it's a natural evolution of technology that will soon become commodity, and in the future it will turn in something new, which we don't know. The importance is that we have to be prepared to adopt and to be very flexible and agile to adopt the progress in blockchain, the progress in generative AI, and whatever comes after with our products that we develop as startups.
I love how you mentioned the commoditization of innovation and how easily we get used to all these things that seemed just amazing just a day ago. And also leave it to the crypto degens to jump on the next potential bubble with AI and invest in everything. Yeah? But I think, all jokes aside, I think you did great to fund an AI blockchain, also taking an AI product, also taking the blockchain route. It's amazing. Like another example of the intersection of the technologies. I love it. Not so long ago, we used to call data the new oil. Sure enough, tech companies have replaced oil companies as the most valuable in the world. Now, some have even been calling data the new money, right? What's the value of data in the AI world, William?
The new oil. You said everything. So yes, AI will be more and more valuable because as artificial intelligence will come in every industries, every AI needs data. We saw some statistics, some numbers, and the average budget for an AI company dedicated to the data is more than 60%. Not only for the collect of data, but for the labelization, for the data quality check, and so on. So it's really, really expensive, and the data is quite hard to find. Good quality data, I mean. Of course, different tools have data generation, data augmentation, and so on, will help us to materialize a part of this data. But we will still need human data and manual checking, and so on, to be able to create and to deliver really accurate AI. So I think for the next world and for artificial intelligence especially, data will be really, really valuable.
It's amazing, right? You both mentioned the brain, the human brain in the concept of artificial intelligence. Maybe it's not that far-fetched to think about us as a collection of data and algorithms, right? If we see in Westworld, the whole operation they set up just to extract those algorithms, right? Quite interesting. I think it's amazing, the potential here. Benjamin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as William said, and what you are doing with Tada, I think it's really important because 100% data, like good data is the foundation of good AI. Like the more data you have, the more specific, the more accurate data you have, the better your model can be trained on it and the better it can perform. And this is definitely a challenge to like have enough of, especially like special data. If you have a niche use case, you need enough of this specific data for your model to be effective. So yes, data will be super important. That's the one side of AI. But also I think, especially as the name says, generative AI can create data. You can generate data with AI and build things on top of that as well. So there's like both sides to it. But in any case, I think it's important to, as you referenced big data, I think this term has been around for quite a while. But what we see now that many companies or organizations, they might have kind of what is considered big data, but it's not so easy to actually get the value out of it. It's still a challenge to kind of, let's say, organize it and make it accessible in a way that you can get business value or value for your product out of it. And I think we will see a similar challenge with AI. There's one thing that there is an opportunity, a possibility to train the model, but you still need to know how and which model makes sense. And I think this is where the kind of skill is now required and where the good models will come out that are able to really leverage this and find the right fit to the data they are trained with and the problem they are trying to solve.
It's great, right? We really do have much more data than we know what to do with, right? And now with AI, finally it begins to make sense and take shape into something so much more useful than previously thought. It's very true. Andreea?
I think that without data, there will be no progress in artificial intelligence. Basically, the data represents the oil, the training source for the models that are used in the generative AI, and not only, also for autonomous cars. They have big models of data that are used and ran in order to have the car driving you and so on. What I think is that the data is there, and it's everywhere we do. Even when we talk on the phone, the microphone is listening to what we are saying, and when you search on Google, then you see you see targeted content based on what you have talked with your mom on the phone. So this data is important to be used in a certain way. And exactly as you mentioned, Benjamin, the generative AI technology alone can hallucinate, can generate data that is not valid. That's the importance of having platforms like DRUID is or other platforms that can control the quality of the data and the generated answer based on enterprise knowledge. So we control what we are doing in DRUID is basically we connect to all the data source in the company, be it in PDF documents, in any type of websites, but also in the systems, in CRMs, in ERPs, and so on. And we prepare prompts. And this is about new jobs, because I mentioned earlier that some of the jobs will change. It's the prompt engineering now. In the past, it was conversational user experience. There are also data scientists, so the jobs will be changing, and there is a requirement from the people to adjust to the new way of working, but also for the new use of the data and how we use the data.
I love it. I love it. We were discussing earlier about going from not having more data than we know what to do with. Now, with AI, it seems like the data is not enough. And I think I echo your sentiment that with AI, there's not enough data, and I think there will be a shortage of humans who are able to shepherd the data and the interaction between the data and the AI to make it into output. I love your outlook on the changing landscape of the workforce, and I loved everyone's input today. So thank you, and please let's thank our panelists. Thank you all.
Thanks.